logical. So David, if you know, we know that this creation is being created for a purpose, correct?
Yeah.
The fact that we can analyze that the Creator has a wisdom, and for example, we have a nose next to our mouth. Before you eat, what you do? Smell food.
Yeah.
So the fact that Creator put a nose next to your mouth that indicates wise. If your nose was next to your anal, you'd be crazy, innit? It sounds a bit funny, but it's mad, you know? We have a joint in our elbows. Imagine we never had a joint, you will never be able to eat. Rather, you start eating like animals. So the fact that the Creator put a joint in our elbows indicates is wise. Likewise, we have the teeth in our mouth. Why? Because we chew with our mouth. You know what I'm saying? So when you look, that's what Allah said in the Quran. Allah said, as an Arabic and translated, yeah? Allah said, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Allah said, within the creations of the heavens and the earth, and that which is between them, and the alteration of a day and a night, it is a sign for people of understanding, people of a sound intellect. Okay? So when you analyze and reflect upon the creation, you know there is a purpose of life. But who knows our purpose except who? The Creator. Whoa, what's going on to you? For example, David, let me make it clear to you. Now imagine you never came across a car. The first time you see a car, if you want to know what is the purpose for this car to be made, who you should ask? The Creator. That's a logical argument, you see what I'm saying? Likewise, a microwave, anything. So therefore, we know, generally speaking, there's a purpose. That's why, based upon the Creator's wisdom and His mercy, He chose people amongst us, from human beings, from our kind, to teach us about our purpose. But again, many people can claim to be what? Messengers of God, but they are liars. So based upon God's wisdom and mercy and justice, when He chose people amongst us from our kind, He gave them something that differentiated from the rest of the people. In order for you and I to differentiate between a true prophet and a false prophet. You know? For example, if I'm a king and I want to send my ambassador to another king, I will give to my ambassador a criteria or something that distinguish him from all the false ambassadors. For people to know, yes, he's my ambassador. What about the king of the kings? The all-wise, the Creator. So what is the criteria? The criteria that when God chose prophets and messengers, it is known, He chose only those who are known amongst their nation to be trustworthy, truthful, honest. Okay? Likewise, He gave them like something which is supernatural, something which human cannot do. For example, to miracles, to prophesy about the future. So, do you know about Jesus, Moses, Abraham? What I have to do, logically speaking, if I establish Muhammad is a true prophet, logic dictates we should believe what he came with. Logical? Yeah. For example, if I have any, or you have like an example, if I have a disease with me, may Allah forbid, and a doctor comes to me and he established to me with the clear proofs he's a true and an expert, then logic dictates I should believe and follow his advice. Okay? Now Prophet Muhammad lived 1400 years ago. He was well known amongst his nation to be trustworthy, truthful and honest. 1 minute, yeah? Even there is a non-Muslim historian, I'm coming to you, yeah? There is a non-Muslim historian, look what they said about him. I have studied him, that a wonderful man, and in my opinion, far from being an antichrist. He must be called the savior of humanity. George Bernard Shaw, the genius Islam. And many people who are non-Muslims, historians, study about his biography with sincerity, and they kept the conclusion this man is an honest man, a truthful person. That's the first one. The second one, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ prophesied many things about the future. For example, he said there will come a time when you see the barefoot Arab man competing in building tall buildings. When the Prophet Muhammad mentioned that, David, back in those days, the Arabs were not known to do that. Those who were known, the Persians, the Romans, the Egyptians, the Greeks. Let me ask you, maybe you know, where is the tallest building in the world? Dubai. Dubai is Burj Khalifa. And who's competing with them? Saudi. And how Dubai and Saudi 60 years ago, 70 years ago, it's pure desert, let alone 1400 years ago. So how this man knew? Not randomly, specifically, precisely in details. Except from what? From the Creator. Another one. Prophet, not just one, there's thousands of prophecy. Prophet Muhammad said there will come a time, he said to his companions, his disciples, yeah? He said there will come a time you will overpower the Persians and the Romans. The Persians and the Romans back in those days, they were the greatest empires. So Prophet Muhammad, he said to his disciples, you will do it. Historically, is known amongst the Muslims historians and the non-Muslims historians that the Muslims, the Prophet Muhammad disciples, overpower the Persians and the Romans. And even there is an English historian, he said that a prophecy, it was as impossible for it to take place because the Arabs were known to be very simple people. Yeah, prophecy, that's true, barakallah fik akhi. A prophecy means something, we're not talking about prediction, like a football or like when a fight took place between, this, it's not a betting shop, you can analyze, no. It's something which everyone started looking at you, are you mad? You telling me this will happen? But it's happening. So again, another prophecy, Prophet Muhammad said, there will come a time when the Muslim will take over Constantinople, David. Do you know Constantinople?
No, I don't.
Constantinople is Istanbul, Turkey. So the Muslim took over Constantinople after Prophet Muhammad passed away 700 years or 800 years. How he knew that? Again, you know what? In the Quran, Allah mentioned the prophecy in the Quran as well. Allah said, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّنَّا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We have made Quran easy to be memorized. So this verse has been mentioned 1400 years ago. David, this book, it has been memorized by 100 million of people who doesn't not speak the language of the book. That is a miracle. It's like you and I will memorize a book the size of this book in Chinese, but none of us speak Chinese. It doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? And that is the power of miracle. Let me ask you something. David, imagine I say, you know what, I like you, David. I'm gonna give you £2 million. It's a gift from me, just take it. What would you say to me at least?
Thank you.
Would you remember me all the time?
Sorry?
Would you remember me all the time?
Yes, I would.
Of course. £2 million? Boy, when you buy a nice house, you remember Shamsi. Okay? But listen to this, David, now. I will give you £2 million on the condition, give me your 2 eyes. Would you do that? No, no, go. You say why? Because your 2 eyes is more valuable than £2 million. So why don't you thank and remember the one who gave you 2 eyes for free? See? You see, that's what Allah said in the Quran. Allah said, oh mankind, you and I, not just a Muslim, worship your creator, the one who created you and your forefathers. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which one of you God's favor you are denying? When you look, if someone comes try to kill one of us, we will run away to save our life. So the life that we have is so dear to us. But what about the one who gave it to us for free? Why don't we thank him? That's why Prophet Muhammad said, if you want to appreciate what God has given you, look to those who are below you. Some people cannot walk. Allah already mentioned it's a test for us, to test us with one another. Some people are poor, but it's a life for you to reflect, to say, look, I'm able to walk, I'm able to see, I should be grateful to my creator. But now, that's one thing, that's why it's Islam. Islam, the foundation of Islam is the testimony, 2 of them. The first one, to say, oh God, I should appreciate, I accept with my heart, and I profess with my mouth, and I implement with my actions that I should appreciate what you have given me, and I should worship you alone. The second part, how should I worship the creator? According to my feeling, but your feeling and my feeling are different. So which one is correct? No. That's why the creator sent the prophets and messengers. We should worship the creator the way he wants us to worship him. Just as if you want to buy a gift for your friend, would you buy a gift that your friend loves or the gift that you love?
The gift that my friend loves.
That's what I'm saying. So if you want to worship the creator, you should worship him the way he loves. That's why the creator sent the prophets and messengers. Allah sent the Quran that Allah will never punish anyone until the proof has been established upon them. Like if someone never heard about Islam and he dies, on the day of resurrection, Allah will test him. Will not punish him directly because he never knew the truth. But if the truth is clear to him and he turns away from it, Allah said, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ ذُكِّرَ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِ ثُمَّ أَعْرَضَ عَنْهَا إِنَّا مِنَ الْمُجْرِمِينَ مُنْتَقِمُونَ. Allah said, who is more unjust than the one who is reminded with Allah's verses, with Allah's signs, the universal signs and the legislative signs, and he turns away from it as if doesn't make, like he doesn't care about it. Allah said, indeed, we will take our revenge from the oppressors. Allah said in the Quran, أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ. Are we going to make equal those who are righteous to those who are criminals? No. Based upon God's mercy, He created paradise. Based upon God's justice, he created the hellfire. Why? Because on the day of imagine like you're a teacher in university. You have few students working hard day and night, and you have few students they don't care about university, they don't care about education. At the end of the year, who you should qualify to pass? The study.
Yeah.
If you qualify all of them, that is unjust. That's why the Creator is the most just. That's why He will also follow His teaching, because already clarified to us, this life is a test. This life is like a bridge. If the bridge is being used to cross from one side to the other side, you don't build a house on the bridge. Yes, David? What do you think what I said so far to you?
It's good.
Does it make sense to you?
It makes sense.
It's a logical, rational argument. That's why in the Quran Allah always tells us to use our intellect, to use our brain. If it makes sense to you, I'm inviting you to Islam. And I'll tell you, you know what? There's something which is nothing guaranteed in this life. Except what? Death. How many people won't sleep? They never wake up. How many people left their houses? They never come back. That's what Allah said in the Quran. قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ ثُمَّ تُرَدُّونَ إِلَى عَالِمِ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ فَيُنَبِّئُكُم بِمَا كُنتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. O Muhammad, say to the people, the death that try to run away from surely will meet you, and you will return to your Lord, and your Lord will inform you of that which you used to do. So if you die and you die upon disbelief, meaning turn away from your Creator, don't blame no one except yourself, because within you, naturally I should worship my Creator. Just as the example of £2 million. So what is stopping you to accept Islam? You have connection with your Creator. You don't have to be school in Islam, as long as the foundation is clear. Yeah, you say? Yeah, like what is the Shahadatan? Yeah, the testimony, like people think, when I become Muslim, do I have to fly? Do I have to change my passport? No. Meaning, the Shahadatan, as I would say to you, David, the first part, what is the first part? Listen carefully, David, yeah? That's the first part. The first part, when you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, meaning that, oh God, I bear witness that I should worship you alone without any partners. The second part, Muhammad the Messenger of Allah, I should worship you according to his Prophet Muhammad. So you believe there's only one God, okay? You believe in his messengers, Moses, Abraham, Noah, Jacob, Isaac, Muhammad, but none of them, you should not worship none of them. They were just a people who God chose and to teach us how to worship God. You believe that God gave a books to the prophets and messengers in order to guide us. Likewise, you believe in the day of judgment, that one day you're going to die and God will judge you according to your action. And also, whatever take place in this universe takes place by God's permission. And then the actions, you pray, you fast. But again, I always say this, David, to the people. Imagine someone give you a whole cake and you eat all of it one time. What will happen to you? Sick. Yeah, or you'll vomit. Yeah. In order for you to feel the sweetness of the cake, what do you do?
Sorry?
In order for you to feel the sweetness of the cake, how do you eat it? Bit by bit. Bit by bit, slowly. Islam like this. The foundation, step by step. Islam means submission. Jesus was a Muslim. Abraham was a Muslim to submit to the Creator. Huh? Now the Prophet said, if someone becomes Muslim, Prophet Muhammad, who doesn't speak from his own desires, he speaks what God told him. He said, when someone becomes a Muslim, all his sins is forgiven. You become like a newborn. However, again, shows you what? The justice of Islam. If you took money, people's money, give it back to them. But whatever between you and the Creator is forgiven. Does it make sense to you?
It does make sense.
It's clear to you?
It's clear.
You want to become Muslim?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's the same touch school.
Okay, I'm going to tell you to say in Arabic, then in English. Say Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasul Allah. In English, I bear witness there is no one worthy of worship except Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad is the last messenger and the servant of Allah. My brother David, let me hug you, man. You're my brother in Islam now. You have all your brothers here, they're gonna hug you. Look, yes. Nice. The only brothers here, man, they're gonna hug you, congratulate you. Big family now you have, David. A big family. You know you are the second person who become Muslim today.
David, yeah?
Yeah, David.
Dawood, yeah?
Dawood, you know David is one of the prophets
Really?
in Islam, but his name Dawood. But in English called David. David, I don't want to bombard you too much.
That's right.
Here, this is the Quran. You can read it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm very happy for you, Dawood. You made my day. Here, there's a book as well. Alhamdulillah. Now, look, you learn how to pray. Now you have contact with the Creator. As I said, naturally we know that I should appreciate the Creator. But how? Now you know how. That's the guidance. In the Quran, always Allah tells us to seek guidance. And He tells us the guidance in the Quran. Alright, David? You have to, so make sure. Do you know your number?
Yeah.
But what I will remind you, David, with that remember, as I told you, this life is a test. So now the Satan, who is our enemy, tried to came upon you harder, but be firm. Allah said in the Quran, Allah said, don't think you say you believe. Allah will test you. Allah will test you to see who is truthful and who is a liar. So be firm, because we're not going to be with you all the time. So if you accept the truth, sincerity, then be firm regardless, you know, because you're going to die by yourself. I'm going to die by myself, and we're going to be in the grave by ourselves, and we're going to meet our Creator by ourselves. So be firm and be strong, but of course, as human nature, you need people around you. So you tell the Baba's number, be in contact with him. You know, how do you feel?
I feel great.
All right, my brother.